Alright guys, welcome back to another video. We are here for the first time in like 3 months, which is absolutely insane to me. But I have a pretty good one for you today. Today I am reviewing this 2017 Volkswagen GTI. Okay, so this car is a 2017 and it does have a sport package, so it does have the bigger brakes and whatnot. Pretty sure the sport package comes with the leather interior as well. This car is stage 2 tuned on Unitronic. It is supposed to be on 91, but we do not have 91 around here. The previous owner did kind of mess that up a little bit, but it does have a catted downpipe on it, down to a stock exhaust, which is just the right amount of noise, which I do really like. He did just get the car, as you can see, but it is on a set of wheels as well, which I do not know exactly what they are, but they're a very good looking set of wheels. And this is a Mark 7 GTI. As you saw in the B-roll, the car is a 6-speed manual, and this car is very, very quick. Okay, so we are inside the car now. I haven't driven manual in a while, so I'm gonna try and be pretty nice here. But as you can hear, this car does have struts out. The front struts do need replaced. It is a 2017 with 65,000 miles, so it is expected that some maintenance will be needed with the car. But the car is almost perfect. He does have plans to do an intercooler and an intake on this car, and it is pretty much ready to be tuned for it. Like I said, this car is tuned on Unitronic stage 2. I don't know if it's stage 2 or stage 2 plus. We can't be 100% sure. He just got the car. He's maybe put 1,000 miles on this car. But I'm a little fanboy when it comes to these. Wow, this road is not good. I love these cars, but I'm not going to beat around the bush on some of the problems they do have. This is a 6-speed manual, so you delete pretty much all of the DSG problems that these cars have, because DSG is just, it's a really amazing transmission and it shifts really fast, but they are known to have a lot of issues, and they do tend to have them pretty easily. I haven't heard a lot of issues with these 6-speed manual in these cars. As you can see, I'm really rough on my manual. But this car does have, you know, a few clunks and creaks. It is, once again, it's a 2017, so it's not, you know, perfectly brand new. This car does have the Fender audio system, which is kind of comparable to Ford's Microsoft Sony system. This car has performance pages as well, which I think is pretty badass. I love the performance pages. They are so cool. Now, as you can hear, there's not a whole lot of noise inside the cabin, but you can hear it. which is pretty cool. Ooh, that was a big one. I do really like the way these cars sound with a stock exhaust. And that's probably the only route that I would go with these cars, to be 100% honest with you, because they do just get so raspy and annoying. And it's a Volkswagen, so they cackle and they backfire, which some people may find really cool, but I do not. Personally, I just think it's too much. This thing, as you guys heard in the rev clips, does have some cackles, and it does make some noise, and it makes just enough noise to be a daily driver. This is no race car by any means at all. But it has the leather seats, which have really good bolsters on them. I really, really, really like them. This is a push-to-start car. It does have mode settings. We can change the modes here. We'll go to normal. And this car rides a million times better. As you guys can hear with the bumps, it actually does change, which I do think is really cool. This car does get a lot stiffer, and the steering gets a lot tighter. Like, the steering's a lot looser now. It's a lot less responsive. The turbo does get more responsive when you put the car in sport mode, which I also think is pretty badass. I'm just a huge fanboy of these cars. From what I've heard, the owner, which is my uncle, has told me that this car has outran a intake exhaust 5.0 Mustang. Now, once again, this car is stage 2. It is tuned. And Unitronic says that these cars, stage 2 tuned, make 334 front wheel horsepower. That is what they say directly off of their website. And honestly, I believe it. I really do believe it. This car does feel like it makes that kind of power. First and second gear in this car are practically useless. You just spin. Now, he is on low pro tires, and he does need to go up a few tire sizes, which he is aware of currently. There's a motorcycle back there. It sounds like shit. But this car overall is just an amazing car. I am a huge, huge fanboy for this car. Now, one of the only things that I really don't like about it is the clutch. Now, these cars are hydraulic clutch cylinder cars, master cylinder cars for the clutch. So the clutch is a way different feel from what most people are used to. It just is, for a stock clutch, the clutch is stiffer, and the way the grab point is way different. It's a lot higher, and just the way, you'd have to drive one to know, the way the car feels is way different compared to your average clutch. Now, if you drive an older version of these cars, you don't get that same feeling. But these cars are really good cars. I've heard a lot of really good opinions on these cars, but there are some really bad opinions. They do, after a lot of miles, which this one won't have problems with for a very long time. After a lot of miles, I've heard after like 150,000, these things start to burn oil and consume a little bit of oil, and that's your regular TSI 2.0. All the Volkswagen TSI 2.0 turbos do it. And these cars, higher mileage, do go through turbos as well, which is why you see people go to the IS38 upgrade, which is out of the Golf R. Now, these cars, stock turbo, will make really good power. Like, really, really good power. And they're respected for it. These cars will outrun bolt-on 5.0 Mustangs with just a tune and an exhaust, which is pretty insane to me. It is very weird. Don't kill it, don't kill it. Oh yeah. It is very weird that a little turbo car like this can do that. But that's why everybody loves them. The DSG version of this car, people will make upwards of 600 plus horsepower and give GT500s a run for their money, because they are like a 3,300 pound car, and they come straight out of the box with 200 horsepower. Now, with any turbo car, obviously, if you can do intake and you can do a front mount intercooler and a downpipe, these cars, along with the tune, these cars will wake up a lot. They change a lot. Now, you lose reliability the further you go into the horsepower spectrum, but that's with pretty much any car. If you're really looking to make a shit ton of power, you don't daily these cars. They become very unreliable once you get up in like that 500 horsepower range. But you do an aftermarket turbo, IS38, whatever, Cobb turbo on this car. You do an intake, front mount, a downpipe, which you can do catted, uncatted, whatever, your preference. Then you do an exhaust with a tune, which will cost you thousands of dollars. It is a German car. German things are expensive. You do not get these cars thinking that they will be cheap, and it's kind of a hit or miss. These could live in the shop, or they could be amazing vehicles. Now, once you do things like that, you can make upwards of almost 400 wheel in these cars. Very, very reliable. Now, you're going to be going through tires more than you will be anything, because the front wheel drive on this car, you just spin so bad. The traction will help you, but the traction just, it's too much on these cars in my opinion. The traction kills the car, essentially. A lot of traction controls on a lot of cars are a lot softer than this car is. This car basically cuts you all power the minute you start spinning, which is nice. It saves the car, it saves the tires, everything. It keeps everything from breaking, especially if you get things like wheel hop or anything like that. But it's still just not ideal. It's too much in my personal opinion. I wish they had different adjustabilities of your traction control, which they do not. I wish that you could set how hard you wanted the traction to grab, because these cars literally just fall on their face if they spin, and you got to put them on a really good tire, especially at 400 wheel, to keep them from spinning. Now, another honorable mention of this car is the brakes are fucking insane. The brakes are absolutely crazy in this car. You barely touch the brakes and this car will throw you through the windshield. It is absolutely crazy. This car, the shifter is very tight. It goes through the gears very good. It feels very nice. Like I said, the sound system is also amazing in this car. I'm kind of a fanboy, but I'm here to be blatantly honest. In my opinion, for a guy my size, this car is a tad small. The seat does go back a lot, but then you run out of reach of the clutch. He has a brow on the front windshield as well, which does get in my way because I'm a taller guy. And the more I lean back, the more uncomfortable it gets to drive, because the further I get from the steering wheel. So, all in all, it has its pros and cons, but I think the pros way outweigh the cons with this car. Come on, get in there. Just cut me off. Whatever. But it's got a nice black headliner. Everything is black, which I do love because it doesn't have that ugly ass gray that most cars get. It's just a beautiful car. Overall, it's amazing. I have been looking at buying one myself, which is why I am reviewing the car today. It is my uncle's car, so I have driven it a few times myself already. See, there's those touchy ass brakes. Another problem with these cars, if you do get one, the mirrors, like your side mirrors, are practically useless. You can see about the front of another vehicle, and that's it. They're very small, they're meant to look very sporty, and they just don't function the best. They look cool, but they're not the best functioning side mirror, in my opinion. Now, Volkswagen did put a little window, so it's like a little tunnel. There's a little window that goes up to the front up there, right in front of the mirror, and I do think it looks really cool, in my opinion. It serves no purpose from what I know, but it looks very cool. Now, obviously this car is German, which is the same people that make, you know, Mercedes, Audi, and things like that. And Audi and Volkswagen are very similar. They share a lot of same things in the engine. They share a lot of suspension components, wheels, bolt pattern, seats, and both Audi S4 bucket seats in this car, and they line up. And all you gotta do is change the plug. It's pretty crazy to me. Now, this car is currently on some low pro tires, and you can feel everything on the road. They are on a 225/40/18, which in my opinion is just too small. You can feel every single dip in the road. It's too much. But like I said, he is going to change that. This is all previous owner doing. What can you do? AC in this car blows ice cold, like freeze you out cold. It does have heated seats as well, I believe. But everything in this car is like it's like a gray with a weave in it. It's not carbon fiber, but it is some sort of weaved platform like that. All of the buttons light up a nice pretty orange. The locks on the side are nice and flush with the door. All of the knobs feel good. They have a very nice click to them. Overall, I really, really like this car. Oh, there's a 370Z up here. Sorry, Ryan, we might be racing your car. This thing would gap the shit out of a 370Z. I'm gonna be 100% honest. It would hurt a 370Z's feelings. We'll see if I can catch up. Oh no. I'm sorry, you guys decided to jump off the dash. Now, the Volkswagen that I test drove had a really bad second gear grind. If you pulled first to second really hard, it would grind and damn near throw you out of the gear. So that car had 120,000 miles. So that tells me that could be, if these cars are beaten really hard, that could be an outstanding issue with the vehicle. Now, this car obviously does not have that. You can roll through the gears in this car and it feels great. But that car only had double the miles of this, so that could only be a few more years of driving before this car starts to feel like that. Which is a little bit concerning, but I would assume as long as you do your transmission fluid flushes, you take care of your clutch, and you don't beat the ever-living shit out of the transmission, it should live just fine. As most cars, you treat the car nice, the car is nice to you. Now, it's really hard, I'm gonna be honest. If I owned this car, it would be beat. It'd be heavily beaten. Now, I don't own this car, so I am not going to heavily beat this specific car. But we are going to see if I can catch up to this 370Z real fast, because I think that would be an interesting little run, because those cars do make over 300 crank horsepower stock. Now, do I think he'll take the bait? Probably not. Sorry, Ryan. Love you. But it's hard not to. It is hard not to. We're going to put her in sport mode, which is going to make her nice and stiff. The steering gets stiff. You can already feel more of the road. It's a lot bumpier. I think it's very cool in my opinion. It does make little turbo noises. You can't hear it, but the little turbo noises are there. I am not going to promise that if this 370Z does try to race me, that this phone will stay up here. You guys might not get to see or hear anything that happens here, but it would be pretty cool. This car was made to compete with things like the 370Z and the Audi A4 and things like that. It's in that realm. That is what this car is made for. So if you are getting this car, do not expect it to be the fastest thing on the planet. This car is designed to keep up with things like I said, the 370Z, the 5.0 Mustang. So it's not going to be 1,000 horsepower race car that you're just going to go gap the shit out of everybody the minute you get in the car. It's not how it works, and it's not going to work that way for you when you get the car. I do see a lot of people on like TikTok and YouTube and stuff that okay, so you guys might have heard it. You didn't see it because you fell over, but you might have heard it. The 370Z did take the bait, and the GTI did dog walk it.
Holy Jesus.
Love you, Ryan. Thanks for letting me take your car. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, 370Z had absolutely no chance at all, even with spinning. There's a V6 Mustang over here too that was trying to keep up, but he wasn't even in the same realm. All right, guys, this is going to be the end of the video. I am back in my truck now. Excuse me. I haven't really shown you guys the truck at all. Don't mind the squeaking, it does need rear brakes. But overall, I would pretty much recommend that car to anyone that wants to get into the car community and have a lot of fun. That car is so much fun. But this is going to be the end of the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I do need to start uploading more often. I'm sorry I've been gone. I love you guys. Thank you for the majority of you still sticking around. Have a great rest of your day.